So I hear that everybody's kicking off about Phil Schofield at the moment, Philip Schofield, and he's just quit this morning. He used to pair up with Holly Willoughby. Both of those are higher and mightier than thou. Honestly, the two of them pretend their shit doesn't stink, but we know it does. Right, what have you got? You've got the Q jumpers. You've got the fact that he lied to a woman all of their married life so that he could have this air of decency about him. And he had kids with her and took the best years of her life, only then to come out and say, I'm actually gay. A lot of the time before that, he'd been having it away with a young boy. Well, I don't know how old he was when it started, but there are some rumours. I don't know, can't say that, so it's all allegedly. But nevertheless, his brother apparently has been a wrong-un, and Philip Schofield, rather than do the honourable thing and go to the police, right, because there are some things that are thicker than blood, right? Basically, if your brother's a nonce, you report him to stop him damaging the lives of any other kids that he might go near. However, Philip apparently just said, just don't do it again and it won't go any further. Well, are you surprised? Don't forget, he's mainstream. The mainstream, there are so many nonces in there, it's unbelievable. I should say I'm not surprised, because it seems that if you're going to join an organisation as bent and corrupt as BBC, ITV, those kind of legacy media, that you have to have been, they have to know that they have something on you, so that all of the other wrong-uns around are safe. It's a bit like, funnily enough, it's a bit like mutually assured destruction between us, Russia, and America, and all the rest of it. We need to know that we could destroy them if they tried it on us. And it's the same thing, if you like, with the BBC or ITV or the media. They have to know that they have enough stuff on you that you're never ever going to go to the papers about one of them or the system or it, because they know that if they did, they could play their card and ruin your life. So they put these degenerates out front and centre, and they get them to roll out the latest narrative. And these people, they're born narcissists. And there's a lot of people that get behind a camera for whatever reason. I used to use this as a sounding board. You know, I would put out what I was thinking and wanted to hear what the other people who watched the video thought of it, whether they thought I was right or wrong, and am I going mad or is this a thing? And that's how I started out years ago, just literally just venting and shouting about the lunacy that was coming out at the time, which was fourth wave feminism, wokeism, bloody lunatic lefties and stuff like that. However, it's got a bit darker since then, only because lots of this stuff now is coming out, and they're trying to normalize teaching kids sex at a ridiculous age, having blokes dressed as women waving their bits in front of kids at story time, and that's normal. Trying to tell kids they can be as many genders as they want and pushing it hard upon them. The gender thing, who knows, could be anything else, God knows. So the whole reason that I do this was just to see how many other people thought that this shit was mad. But there are people that, from the very age they're born, they want to be up on stage. They want people looking at them. They need people's attention, and they need people to look up to them and stuff like that. And there were many like it. I mean, Philip Schofield came out as a joke when he first came out, as some laughy, fresh-faced young lad with his hand up a gopher. I don't think it was his hand, but I'm just taking the piss. So it's him and Gordon the Gopher on kids' TV. Oh, God. So if he liked young'uns and then he went on kids' TV, that's only just occurred. Oh, my God. It'd be like Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile made sure that he did programs around kids because he liked kids. What amazes me is just how many people with really, really dodgy sexual needs, you know, the ones that like kids and the ones that are into some other dodgy shit that I personally don't know. I'm extremely vanilla, I'm afraid. So these people gravitate to a position like that where they can be protected by the system itself, whilst networking amongst other wrong-ins, so they could satisfy their needs, if you like. But the other thing that's quite interesting is that the system itself will use these people up until a point, and then when the time comes, they throw them under the bus and hang them out to dry, because these people are just tools to them. And they couldn't go after the system because, well, look at people that actually tried to speak out against the system. Take Jill Dando, for instance. They've never found her killer. There have been others in different states or whatever. And it's amazing, when you go back they brought out a thing called Childline. Now, Childline was interesting because it did two things. it made out that the system, BBC or wherever it went out on, was caring about the kids and all the rest of it, and it was fronted by all of the big nonces as well as the other people who knew, because there's a lot of people that aren't wrong in the BBC, but they know what's going on and don't say anything, so that then makes them accomplices, if you like. The reason I can say this is because I had a mate I grew up with. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but he was the butt of everybody's jokes. But in the end, it turned out that there was a young girl we know. The situation with her is, I think her dad was either in prison or passed away. Her mum was dying of cancer. She came from a very poor background where half of the family were in it. You get, and she was quite forward for a 14-year-old. But nevertheless, he tried to have a go on it, and he was 40 years old. And she made it quite clear, and so did her mother. You know what age we are? Well, the daughter is. He said, I don't care. So I put it out on Facebook what he was. And then the mother said, well, I'm going to take this to the police. So the police actually came for me, right? Saying that I was causing threats of violence. So, you know, I had to take that down. But I said to his mother, I said, look, it's like this. Either I go to the police or I kick the shit out of him. It's your choice. But his mother, she was a bit fucking off her head. I think she actually helped him become the idiot he was, because he couldn't do any wrong. But anyway, my brother and another friend went to the police, and I ended up becoming a witness. So it went to court, and it was right at the last, he was going in, so right at the last minute, he went guilty. And because it was done over a phone, it was new to them at the time, and the judge didn't know quite how to deal with it. But either way, there were some out there that thought I was out of order. Can you believe that? This is a 40-year-old man trying to effectively fuck a 14-year-old, right? That's a nonce. Anyway, cut a long story short, I have never spoken to the bloke since, and I'd known him for 20 years. But it is what it is. You've got to do the right thing, and no matter how much it causes you bother, right? There's nothing else you can do. You go to the police. So Philip Schofield, not having informed the filth about his brother being an absolute degenerate, kid fucking interested sort of person. I've got to watch what I say here, but he's a wrong one. But what would you expect from a bloke who's morally bankrupt anyway? This is a bloke that was pushing the jabs on everybody. This is the bloke that was shaming people who weren't social distancing and wrapping themselves in plastic and having a cuddle in front of fucking cameras and that. And yet, off air, totally different. And this is the thing. The people that push this stuff on us don't follow that stuff. Do as I do, not as I say. No, do as I say, not as I do. That was the right one, wasn't it? It's early in the morning, you know. But yeah, he is just a wrong and out and out. But how many more of these absolute fucking wrong-uns are presenting TV programs, walking amongst the shadows, fucking people who are either underage on set or barely legal, lying to their missus, or having sham marriages? Because she's a victim in all of this, I think. And she's taken it really, really well. Well, I feel sorry for her. She gave the best years of her life and raised a family with a man that she thought was straight, whilst all the time he was fucking twinkles. Look that up. So yeah, that's my thoughts on him. He's just a fucking wrong'un, and why people would expect anything else from somebody who's been put at what I would call primetime TV. The BBC would have selected, or ITV or whatever he's on. I don't have a TV in the house, and I haven't had one since 2014, I think it was. I just realised that the TV and the radio actually made me unhappy. Serious. I had really bad depression back in those days. And it was because what I was being told and what I was seeing didn't go with what I knew to be right, or what I was seeing with my eyes off there. And it's their job, because many of them believe it's their job to change our perception of reality. I mean, one of the very high up people in Google, YouTube, Ireland, actually said this on video. It's our job to change their perceptions of reality to what we want them to think. No, it's your job to put videos up there. That's it. So there it is. So we should not be surprised that the system itself, if it's going to have primetime TV, will put one of its worst degenerates out there because they're laughing at you. But there it is. Anyway, thought I was going to do a short on this, but I realised it was going to go on a bit. So there it is. What a wrong one. See you in a bit.